You, hello, everybody. We just scheduled a live thing for what year was it?
In the live feed, we usually come on like right away for 9, was 731 days later. So I said, we'd be sitting here, it'd be a long time.
Really good at this stuff. Really,
long time.
really good at this stuff. Shannon says, "Why does it have over 700 days till our thing? You have to press on it."
Perfect.
There you go. Anyway, so here we are. I just spent. Well, no, we're live now because it says we're live. It'll rejig, yeah. So remember, it always has a little lag time.
Gotcha.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our Friday Night Live. I spent all day today putting 10 Joseph Williams videos up. Because if you don't want to wait for the snippets, of course, that's okay because you can go into every single of the videos of Joseph Williams. Just click on the very top, and you can go to the whole video of Joseph. That new talk I had with him this month, actually just a week ago, and David Page was a few days before then. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Oh, we're live. Oh, this is the other one. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. This is the one.
Oh.
We were on the wrong one.
We are back.
we were on the one for 7.
Hey, Melody.
Hey, Melody. She's always first. Were you the first one in school, Melody? I want to know. Were you the first person who walked into school? Because you're right on time. Nice to have you on here. Thank you.
Hi, John. Hi from Connecticut. Hope you guys are well.
We are.
Great. Rick says, greetings from Ohio. Be sure. To whack that like button.
To whack it.
I love
it's
that.
The first time I've said whack on my channel.
That is funny.
Yes, please, because the other day we were just coming off the other day from albums that were ahead of their time when I was doing that in my studio downstairs, and someone would come on and say, "You're just terrible at telling people to like your videos." I'm going, you know what? Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Oops.
The Joseph Williams ones, like I said, I put 10 of them up today, or 9. I put one up a couple of days ago, and I just think this series is going to do incredibly well because Joseph, we didn't joke around as much as we did before. I just wanted to keep it pretty straight. It was a 47-minute interview, almost 50, and I've got Jeff Skunk Baxter, by the way. I just found out today I'll be talking to Jeff Skunk Baxter on Wednesday for the second interview. He really enjoyed Ryan, the publicist, said he really enjoyed the chat, so he'd be more than willing to do it again. And we're going to concentrate heavily on things like the Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan, which of course we should, but those videos have done the best. I think one of them made, I think it's 35,000 hits right now. So that's good for us, Hi.
John hops on, good evening to you both. And Melody says, yes, I'm always early, LOL.
Shannon's the same way.
Michelle says, Buffalo, New York, Spaceman,
hey.
Deadly. What do you think of David Lee Roth bluegrass music he did several years ago?
I didn't hear it, I don't think. I did hear it. If it's the stuff I thought it was. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. Wasn't, only certain artists are allowed to cross genres with me. Bruce Hornsby's a fine example of that. I like it when he does it. Bruce has gotten a little out there lately, but for his last 3 albums, he just released the third of a trilogy. And so I'm not sure if he's going to go back to more mainstream stuff. I hope he does. I really hope he does. But yeah.
Eileen says, hey, from Pets Domain,
Hey.
Benalia, Australia. Yes, I'm at work.
Oh, yeah, of course. Is it winter time there? Remember we had someone come on last week saying, it's strange our worlds are backwards back then. Well, we're here and you're there, or the other way around.
Brandon says, Jeff Baxter is a really interesting guy. Melody says, love Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Yeah, well, and again, I'm going to put another thing on. We'll make an announcement tomorrow. And we've got Lou Graham next week. Hold on, let me grab my thing. It's on my phone. If it's not on my phone, I can't keep track of anything.
Surfer Boy says, what's up from Boston? John Shannon and all. Hi, Surfer Boy.
We have Michael DeRossi, formerly of Heart, on Monday. Tuesday, Lou Graham. And July 19th, we've got Mark Farner of formerly, of course, Grand Funk. I said Bad Company. What? And then we're Jeff Skunk Baxter's next week too. We're not sure when. I don't want to get too excited, but I contacted Ann Wilson's people, and they said that I'm not sure if they said she had COVID or some people in the band got COVID. But anyway, so she'll be free up in July. It's been a long day of editing. I do most of the editing now that Chase works at Costco. So
Michelle says, just saw an interview with Jeff Baxter. Love, love, love him. Can't wait for your interview.
Thank you. Our second interview.
Second. Rick says, missed your last live stream. Here are 3 of my albums ahead of their time.
Oh, good.
The Who, Tommy, Bob Dylan, Bringing It All Back Home, and the band, music from Big Pink.
Yeah. Someone. No, actually, I don't think anybody mentioned music for Big Pink. Someone said Stage Fright. That's one of the few band albums that I had with the multicolored sort of cover. I always liked Stage Fright, but it wouldn't be. Most people wouldn't put it down as, I think, ahead of its time. Yeah.
Space Deadly. No, Roth did not do justice on it. He thought it was a flop.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Well, I find it hard sometimes. Listen, when Robert Plant did the Honey Drippers, there was a part of me that was just fighting it, going, "No, Robert Plant, don't do that." But his solo albums didn't really sound like Zeppelin anyway. I mean, they were rockish albums at times, and I thought, well, he's allowed to do it. I kind of like the song now.
John says, who was your favorite lead singer for Toto?
Joseph. Bobby close behind, though. I love Bobby. Bobby was... I remember looking at Bobby when the first album came out and go, wow, he's not like the typical looking lead singer. But man, can he sing. He's a nice looking guy, but him and David Hungate looked more kind of straight, and they weren't. Well, David was maybe, but Bobby certainly was. And Bobby lived the rock and roll life. He sent me a message. I don't know if I told you guys. He sent me a message the other day. All he said was, "Hey, John, I hope you're doing well. Of course you're doing well. I just want to say hi to you. Take care of yourself." And I went, just on a little video he sent me. That was really nice.
Melody says she loves Lou. Spaceman says, Spaceman Dudley. Styx is one of my favorite bands. Wish DeYoung and Shaw would get things rolling.
As they say down south, that dog won't hunt. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. I wish it would. They don't have to make it happen, There's that thing that happens in families sometimes. You ever notice that people will go, well, wait a minute. What's the worst that could happen? I just say I don't want to talk to that person anymore. And then you look around and you're going, oh, people are mad, but I can live with this. It's fine. And I've had people in my family that I've had to say, I can't do this with you. I'm related to you. I wish you well, but we're always at each other. And I looked around and I went, well, my mom's disappointed and stuff, and but I have to do this, not mentioning names, but that's the way it goes. And I think that's what happened in this band. That's the reason I bring that up. I think after a while people go, oh, I can't. I don't have to make amends. It's not the end of the world. They're not picketing outside my house. The fans want something, but sometimes the artist is just going, I'm not going to do that. Dennis said he'd do it. He told me he'd do it.
Rich Leach, love Lou Gramm. Foreigner should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Cheers from Savannah, Georgia.
I've never been there. Always wanted to go. I'm really looking forward to talking to Lou. I've had so much. I only saw him in concert once. It was the Head Games tour. I love that album and pretty much loved everything they did. That was their first. Well, the first 4, 5 albums. Wow. Hi.
Hey, Surfer Boy. Ross seems to have gotten very old the last few years. Hasn't aged well. Lost his swagger.
Who is this? Oh, Roth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lived the rock and roll life. I mean, when people put up, oh, look at your favorite pinups, look what they look like now, and there's a part of me that always goes, well, let them get old. It's just that David Lee Roth seemed like a guy who was never going to get old. When you looked, he was a larger than life character, right? and he sometimes was his worst enemy. So, God, I'm yawning. Keep yawning.
Ooh, none of that for you.
Like last night when I was doing the live feed, albums that were ahead of their time, I went on there and I went, oh, I shouldn't have done this tonight. I am so tired. Because it was.
Well, it could have been that you walked like 20 miles yesterday.
Yeah, it was a lot. Plus the lawn, plus wash 3 cars. I like to stay slim and I like to walk a lot in the summer. The winter, that's all.
We all kind of hibernate.
Yeah.
Brandon says, have you thought on getting Miles Copland?
Oh, Miles Copeland.
Who was the ex-manager of the police and founder of IRS Records. He'd be a great interview.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of him in a long time. I didn't even know he was still around. It's just he's a character I never really thought of. But yeah, that might be... The people behind the scenes don't always perform that well. Even behind the scenes of bigger band. Bill Schnee, the producer, engineer... I thought he would tank, not because of him. He's had a wonderful career, and he's such a delightful man to talk to. He's just a nice guy. But that did really well, and I went, oh, good for Bill, right on. And he wrote the book, and it's an incredible book about working with all these people that he did. Great stories about Marvin Gaye and Barbra Streisand. The list just never ending.
JD says, greetings to you, John and Rita Coolidge, LOL.
She doesn't look like Rita Coolidge, but
okay.
Okay.
And he says, hello from Tasmania, Australia.
I've never seen Rita Coolidge in you. Just the long hair. It's just
must be the dark hair. Hike with Mike. Hey, folks. Justin says, how do you feel about Steve Gorman and the Black Crowes?
What about them? I haven't heard anything. Is there news? Because I've been in the editing suite all day.
Lucinda says, come on, 42 viewers and only 13 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Yeah, smack that like button.
We got 55 here, and I'm not sure. That's got probably more accurate than one we've got on the Restream or Ecamm. We use Ecamm to do this. By the way, someone was asking us, the Patreon account we're just a painstaking work, but we're putting a lot of interviews on Patreon that we've never put out ever. So that's going to be a bonus for a lot of people. And we're going to do a lot of streaming with you. We're going to do a lot of I know some channels offer one-on-one. And I can do that if it's something that people want. Yeah, so we're looking at different ways. We're almost there. I know I keep saying that. It took me so long to do it. I just didn't want to do but financially we need to do it. I need a new computer, and this is the computer right here that we're using that basically we do almost all our work with. So there you go.
Surfer Boy, Plant and Krauss are good together. I've seen him a few times, and he does a few Zeppelin songs.
Yeah, he does, and he sounds so different. When I was listening to their music, I'm going, wow, he goes into a different range. He even said in the beginning he was nervous and he didn't think he could do it. He just was, I don't know, he had to find his voice within that duo with Allison that seems to have worked really well. It's exciting, I think.
Hype with Mike, Desert Moon was a great song. It was a great solo song by Dennis DeYoung.
I played it on the radio. I remember that album cover. I remember us being all excited, and he was doing a lot of press back then. And I'd really like to talk to him again. I forget who set me up. I think Frontier Records set me up with Dennis. If anybody knows his contact information, email it to me, please. I don't think I contacted him directly. I mean, after the fact, sometimes an artist will contact you because Dennis has watched my videos because he told me that. He says, Jean Beaudin, how are you, John? And then remember I told you guys, he said, I picked you, I actually went after you because I was trying to get an interview that died down one day. I think, like I said, it was Frontiers caught a hold of me and said, oh, Dennis DeYoung wants to do an interview with you. I went, what? Oh, Dennis DeYoung knows who I am? Okay, that's a good thing.
JD says the Nazareth interview with a bassist was great, part 1 and 2. How did you pick up his Scottish accent? Such a strong accent.
How did what?
How did you pick up his accent?
I've known a lot of, I've been fortunate to know a lot of Irish and Scottish people in my life. Dan McCafferty was very difficult because it was that's the lead singer of Nazareth. That was a bad phone line. He didn't want to do camera things. Now it's before COVID, and his accent's even thicker. I would have loved to have interviewed Dan on camera, but his accent. I asked Pete, I said, wait a minute, I've heard a little bird just told me that Dan could un-Scottish his voice a little bit and Pete said, yeah, he'd go on stage and depending upon where he was, he could sound a little bit more North American or something. But I wouldn't ask someone to do that because that's the way he talks, right? But yeah, I could understand him. Okay.
Fraser J, hi. Just watched the full
Fraser J.
Joseph Williams interview and loved how well it flowed. You mentioned my fave Toto song as well, 1,000 Years. P.S. John, the glasses really suit you in the intro. Yeah,
Oh, thanks. Well, that's my glasses I wear all the time. These are these glasses here, but I'm nearsighted, so I can't usually wear them.
But he wears them all the time.
If I'm wearing these, I'm ad-libbing, basically, because I can't. But for right now, when I'm doing work, like the computer's usually a little closer to me, I never wear glasses. And Shannon, like I wear glasses when I'm walking. All my neighbors see me with glasses on, but I can't. I'm nearsighted, so I need to take them off.
And when I'm reading the comments, I have to put on the glasses now.
Yeah, Shannon's eyesight's way worse.
Some of us just didn't rate, and I did not rate with great eyesight.
Well, you can't help that, right? It's luck of the draw, right? What are you going to do?
DRMWVR. Are older Canadians upset neither Burton Cummings or Randy Bachman in the American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I don't know about Burton. Randy didn't seem to care. I've interviewed him 3 times. I think he cares, but I'm trying to get a hold of Burton right now. I'm trying to set up an interview with him, but I keep getting ignored by whoever his gatekeeper is. But mind you, it might not be his manager anymore because these guys switch managers. So I asked an industry insider today if he had another. I said, who's the gatekeeper? I just want to know who the gatekeeper is. I got to get Burton Cummings. I'm doing a history of Canadian music for the Canadian channel. I need to get Burton Cummings.
Knox Drayman, Max Carl deserves a full interview.
There's a lot of people, oh my God, on this channel. We started looking, like Shannon helps out with, now she's starting to help out with getting interviews because she's good on the phone and I hate talking to people. I just don't like talking on the phone. It's the thing, I don't know. For a radio guy that's done like thousands of interviews through the years, and most of them on the phone, I just don't like talking on the phone. So I told her, I said, I'm not going to. I mean, it was nice Robert Plant's manager got back to me within like 5-10 minutes, asked me tomorrow, I'll say 20. I don't know. It was really quick. And he just said, Robert's not doing any. And I remember going, I should try to get more interviews. So this week we actually went out of our way. Like the Loverboy, Mike Reno. We've got the Beaudins coming up. A lot of great interviews that we have done. We've split them up. I'm just putting them up at Last Fee Waybill's coming up tomorrow. The entire interview will be available tomorrow, and part 1, and then the podcast will be available tomorrow. And I think Felix Cavalieri is going to be the next day on Sunday. We'll start that series.
Parker says the Who is still bringing its longevity. One of the greatest rock and roll band. Yeah,
I'm glad they're still around. You know. John and Keith are no longer around. I've been really paying attention to Keith's drumming. I'm a drummer, so I used to play some of those things. But lately I've really been listening to him with kind of new ears a little bit. I mean, Bonham is between those two is still by far my favorite. But Keith he always sounded like he was drumming on those big Rubbermaid garbage bags. Like there's just something very thrashy about the way he drummed. Careless, but you know, it sounded the way he wanted it to sound. Yeah, that's for sure. He's a crazy man.
Lucinda says, hi, John and Shannon. Do you guys have any trips planned over the next year? Probably just to head a little more east.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, PEI.
Well, we went to Amherst, Nova Scotia to pick up Chase's car. And we love that. I spent a day in Halifax quite a few years ago. We want to go. I mean, in spite of gas prices. Everything okay?
Fine. Sorry, okay. Go ahead.
No, it's just when your mother, when we have elderly parents, we always go I always tell Shannon when her mother calls, always answer because you never know how long you have with your parents, right? So anyway, we want to go. We were going to go to Newfoundland this year, but we decided no, we're going to go to Nova Scotia, different parts of New Brunswick and PEI this year. And then in the winter, depending upon how well the channel does, because we are dependent on this channel and the radio station I work for to make a living. And if it goes better, we'll probably go to BC for a month, maybe in the wintertime, because I hate the snow. The snow. What? You smell good.
Why, thank you.
Shannon got ID'd at the liquor store this week. She got ID'd. I haven't been ID'd since the 80s. Since the early 80s. It's been a long, long time. But yeah, what happened? The person said, can I see? She was wearing a mask because she has an autoimmune disease.
No, they just said, could I please see your ID, please? I was like, oh my God.
But didn't you say to take off your mask or to lower your mask?
Yeah, just to lower my mask so we could see. I said, oh my God, my husband's going to love this. He'll think it's really funny.
Oh, good for you. You take it when you can, right? Yeah.
Let's continue on here. Wolf Tracks, greetings from Florida. Nice to see you
Hey,
both
Wolf
again.
Tracks.
Hi. Paul Lice, is there really a dark side of the moon?
But there is actually a dark side of the moon, yeah.
And let's see. Darren, Black Noise by FM is an album that's ahead of its time.
That's very, very true. Phasers on Stun. I love that album quite a bit. I mean, that was, man, they were just taken off with that album. I think I've got it still on vinyl. A great keyboard, band. If anyone doesn't know it, look it up. FM Phasers on Stun on Spotify or your streaming service. I think I haven't checked. Is it on Spotify?
Joe says Foreigner really does deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Head Games was a great album. Lou Gramm is a great singer. Head
Games was crazy good. When we saw them, I saw them with, not sure, some friends and my girlfriend at the time at the, who became my wife, Lynn. She knows my ex-wife really well. I was going to say she knows my wife. They were going to come out here. My ex-wife and her husband, once or twice a year, Lynn and I will have a long conversation about what's going on and stuff. And when I think I told you guys when I introduced Lynn to Shannon, she says, "Oh wow, good luck holding on to that." I'm going, "Oh, what am I, chopped liver?" I've told this story before, but she said, "Well, you are my ex-husband. I kind of have to look at you that way." So anyway, yeah, I don't know how I got off on that. Yeah, we went to I think Jeff was with us. We went to this big stadium, Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, and Rock Circus 2 was called. Yeah, it was a great concert.
Paul Sor says, Colorado to win the Stanley Cup this evening?
I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. I haven't watched hockey in a lot of years. But I'm a bigger Colorado fan than I am a Tampa Bay fan.
Knox Draymond says the new Midnight Oil shows are absolute fire.
Oh, cool. Yeah, didn't he leave to become a politician for a while, the lead singer? I don't remember his name.
Lucinda says Christine McVie, Fleetwood Mac, said in an interview that she's probably done with touring.
Yeah, we did a story on it. And she also said her ex-husband, John McVie, was pretty much done. She said she can't physically do it because of her back problem. And she said the band's pretty much done. And the last time she said that, Nick Fleetwood came forward and said, "Oh, no, that's not, hold on now." And they did go out after that. Itchy nose.
James says, hello from Dogwood Road, Shannon, John. Hope everyone is well. Thank you. Spaceman Dudley said, Leonard Skinner coming to my area next month.
Oh, cool. Always good blue-collar rock and roll, southern rock. I remember buying the 45. What's your name? Little girl.
Darren says, Ben Mink's solo album, Foreign Exchange, is also a favorite of mine.
Speaking of FM, yeah. Ben Mink called me on the phone one night when I was on it was QMFM. And it had to be Ben Mink because it was a song he co-wrote with Katie Lang. I think it was from Ingenue, I forget. Anyway, we shortened the songs. It wasn't my idea. So to get the CanCon out of the way, to make them Canadian content, we have to play a lot. So there was, I don't know what song it was, but like I said, whatever song it was, he co-wrote with KD. And he phoned up and he was really angry. And he said, "What have you guys done to my song?" And I said, "Sorry, man. I know it's not my decision. I'm just, don't punish the messenger," or whatever I said, some cliche line. And then I thought, I wonder if that's Ben Mink. Does he live in Vancouver? Anyway, he was mad, and I didn't give it to him. I was going to say I gave it to him. I said, "Sorry, man. There's nothing I can do." And he said, "Well, you guys shouldn't do that." I went, "Yeah, I understand." So it had to be Ben Mink. I didn't ask him his name. He says, "I co-wrote that song," and I went, "Oh, okay."
Jess says, "Hi from Utah. It's great to see you again."
Hi.
James chimes in. "Please don't forget to hit that like button."
Like button.
Thank you.
Press the like button. Thank you.
Justin Waldridge says, "Good news in September on Labor Day as Rocklahoma Quiet Riot will be taking the stage."
Oh, wow. Quiet Riot with no original members. Since Frankie Benelli died. Oh, we got a super chat. We're supposed to get to the super chat.
Oh, sorry. Lucinda, thank you.
Hi, Lucinda. Thank you.
Thank you for
Very
all
kind of
the
you.
great content, John Shannon. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Much appreciated. Just going to backtrack here so I miss anybody.
That's you know what? Sometimes I'll lose my. The only thing about this software that's kind of, and Lucinda, thanks again. The only thing about this software is always I'm going, where was I again? And I'm losing comments, and someone say, you didn't read my comment. I'm going, oh, sorry, man.
Darren says, "John has the same glasses as Kenny Loggins."
Oh yeah, you told me that the other day. Yeah, we're trying for Kenny again. My buddy Ryan, who's his publicist, he says we're going into July, but if there's an avail anywhere, we will make it happen. We had a good conversation. I really enjoyed talking to him. He called Shani a pretty girl.
He's very sweet. I think Bob Perry said, "I think John Waite would be great."
Yeah, and his solo stuff is really good. There's an album he released, and what was it, like 10 years ago? There's one where he talks. He's telling a story, and he talks in it, and it's so cool. I've got it in the car. They sent it to me. It was really good.
A Hike with Mike question: have you interviewed any of the original members of the Byrds?
No, I'd like to though. I was on a mission a couple of years ago, and it never happened.
Ray says, "Did you ever have an opportunity to interview Marshall Crenshaw?"
No, but notice how Marshall Crenshaw looks completely different now than he used to. Holy moly, because he had that kind of Buddy Holly look before. My friend Steve Burgess interviewed Marshall and gave me the interview when he was first coming out with that big first album. But yeah, I haven't heard his stuff in years. But he'd be a good interview. He'd be a really good interview.
Rick also says, "Hey, make sure to hit that like button and give it a whack."
Give it a whack. You guys just want to hear us say whack. Whatever that means.
Gator Bronson said, "Rush was in my own Hall of Fame in 1987. The world finally caught up to me recently."
I've been on my mind is to go back and to listen to when I edit sometimes because what I'll do when I edit, Chase chops it up, like it'll go 001 first cut. It'll say like Joseph Williams, Toto, so I can find it if I'm looking it up. And then he'll have the question that I asked, and the end. That's how we look for things. And when I'm doing the videos, I'll go, oh yeah, and I'll write down, okay, my first clip will have track 1, track 8, and I'll give it a title. But I don't have to listen to it because I've already done it. So I'll put music up really loud where I'll just be editing. Okay, track 3, track 5, So I told myself next time I do that, I'm going to go back and listen to all the old albums, 2112, Caress of Steel, Fly By Night, all just go crazy with the early stages. And then maybe the next day go to the second stage after 2112. All the World's a Stage, great 3 LP live album, which I had. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Adam Parrish, hi guys. I went to see Yes in Nottingham, UK last week.
Oh,
It was a great show, but tinged with sadness because the passing of Alan White. Billy Sherwood has nailed Chris Squire's bass parts.
Billy Sherwood's an incredibly, and speaking of death, we lost Michael Sherwood, his brother, who co-wrote with Toto, and there's a song on the new David Paich album, All the Tears, which is also on 14, which David sings, but on this album, Michael, I asked him, who's singing that song that you decided to re-release? He said, that's Michael Sherwood. And I went, oh, wow. And we lost him a little while ago. So he's Billy's brother. And I interviewed Billy Sherwood. A nice guy, really nice, easy guy to talk to.
Sweet Savage, John, have you ever met Eddie Trunk? Your take on him?
No. There's just something, I don't know. He's not necessarily a guy that I would listen to. But he's been incredibly successful. He's good at what he does. I just don't gravitate. Like Jeff Woods is a guy that I like. I like Jeff Woods. I know Jeff. He's like the Canadian guy that does that. Jeff should be way bigger than he is. I interviewed Jeff, and then he's got a whiskey-soaked voice. He's a biker. He's got a lot of tattoos. Look up Jeff Woods radio. He's just amazing. To me, Jeff's the man. I'm honored to call him a friend.
Pulsar Lights, what will the heating oil cost be next winter in Canada?
What was it this year?
Well, it was pretty high. I mean, we don't, yeah.
Well, we're on electricity.
Yeah.
Because we've got a heat pump, that thing up there on the left side. You see that thing? That's a heat pump. Oh, you're not in the way.
I just had to, this is so funny.
What? Oh my God.
My mom is waiting for that feed.
We put on a feed and accidentally pressed a button.
And it said, it said that we'll be live in 2 years. And so mom says she's waiting for us to go live.
Oh no.
And
Want me to send her the link?
It'll be 2 years.
I'll send her the link.
That's just so
I have
cute.
to send. Her mom is just the best. Her mom is she's just
best.
When I first met Shannon, I'm going, what do you mean you call your mother several times a day? Come on, you're a lady, you're an adult, you know.
Oh, we get along so
and then I kind of got it after I really understood it. It took me a while to, okay, here it is. I'll
Thank you for sending her the proper link.
I don't know if I can do it.
Hello everyone, greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm at a pierogi supper.
Oh no, I love pierogies.
Oh, that sounds
I'm
good.
sending it to her now.
Thanks.
Nana, I've got her down as Nana.
Aaron says, hello from Maui. You both look great. Thanks, Aaron. Love your shirt, John. Lucky to see Al Stewart live at Darrell Hall's Place in April in Pauling, New York. Still sounds great and performs with a 5-piece band.
He does. When I was when I was a co-chair of the Jazz Awards in Toronto, I spent some time with Peter White, who used to be his main right-hand man. And I said, yeah, have you played with Al in the last little while? I said, oh, whenever I get a chance, I'll play with him. He says, just a delightful man to play with. So there you go. An ex-bandmate saying great things about him.
Melody R says, well, I got ID'd at a cabaret moose job. You go, girl.
Hey, good for you. 2 thumbs up. That's cool. That's cool. That's always good.
So Pulsar Light says, so the dark side of the moon means one side never faces Earth or one side never gets sunlight?
Well, it doesn't face Earth and I don't think it gets sunlight. Yeah, I don't know anything about the skies above. I used to when I was a kid. I was obsessed with stars and planets, but I was also 10. So there you go.
Gator says Eddie Trunk considers John a friend. He doesn't want to speak for John, but there is a lot of material you haven't looked into. If that is supposedly your fave band.
What? Sorry, what?
Gator. Eddie Trunk considers John a friend, and he doesn't want to speak for John.
What?
Sorry.
That doesn't even make any sense.
I don't.
A friend, and he doesn't want to speak for John? I don't know what that means. My fave band? Okay, anyway.
Sorry, continue on. Hi, let's see here. Jen says, hey, I'm from Irishtown. Love your content.
What?
Especially all things Toto. Hey, Jen. We loved Irish Town. We're actually looking at moving there.
You're in Irish Town? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we
were just there. And a gentleman from Irish Town was just here to pick up my clipped speakers. I, after 24 years, thought they were just, when I do my thing downstairs, I have the reel-to-reel behind me. They were sitting on clipped speakers. Oh, I got to crack my neck. And Shannon says, remember our rule. She says, I know you love those speakers, but you don't use them. You're using the big JBLs downstairs. So I said, you know what? Let's stay to our rule. And so the gentleman who picked them up is from Irish Town. So there you go.
James says, saw Ben Mink play with Katie Lang on Angel with a laureate tour, small club, half full. She put on a great show.
She used to do the answering machine for whatever studio she used to work in. I worked in Damon's studio to do the Cross Canada Report, the syndicated show that I used to syndicate across the country, the radio show. Hi, Danica. And so, sorry, just one more thing. And I remember, what's it called? Dave McDonald, I forget his name, that ran the studio, told me one day, he says, hey, we're going to call the studio. And then the studio had an answering machine. And I'm going, I said, is that Katie Lang? She's doing the message for the answering machine. He says, yeah, she recorded her stuff there. There you
go. Jason Free says, did you ever meet Meatloaf?
No, never have. Never tried to. Never saw him in concert. I wouldn't say I never wanted to, but he was not, I never bought Bat Out of Hell. I only got it later. And I'd get it from like used record stores. And I had it recorded on cassette. But we record people, we used to not consider it, you didn't have the album if you just recorded it. You'd have to have an actual factory. And that's how we all did when we were growing up. But I had it recorded, yeah.
Jason says, are you a Gordon Lightfoot fan?
Love Gordon Lightfoot.
Love
Gordon Lightfoot. Hi, Danica. It's making a lot of noise over there.
Yes.
Our autistic daughter.
Justin says, John, have you ever seen the documentary of the making of the Rolling Stones' Sympathy of the Devil?
Sympathy for the Devil? No, I haven't. No. I became a Rolling Stone fan maybe 10 years ago, outside of Some Girls. I love Some Girls. And it's her biggest selling album. Who would have thought Some Girls, and even though, don't get me wrong, it's my favorite Stones album, but what? It really is their biggest album. So I became a fan then, obviously a lot of people did, and then I wasn't a fan anymore, I had enough, whatever, Emotional Rescue would come up later, and I go, oh, I kind of like that song, and but then I forgot about them, and then I got into them 10 years ago, and now I forgot about them again. I'll go back in.
Alan says, hello. Carrie Crouch. Hi, John and Shannon. It's hot in Detroit. Thanks for your Friday Night Live.
Thank you. It's muggy here.
Nice to have you.
It's muggy here.
It is muggy.
Please press the like button if you like hanging out with us. I'm, during this summer, going to come on, and Shannon comes on with me on Friday. We're thinking, I'm not sure how we're going to strategically do our Today in History on the other channel, because it's meant to be a history channel more than, this was an interview channel. And then it turned into a live subject thing where you guys answer. Basically, it's not about me. It's about you guys answering a question like the other night, what was the most albums that were ahead of its time, which I got from Eric Alper, who is a well-known broadcaster, journalist in Canada. So we're looking at, Shani and I are doing a live Today in History but I have to learn this software that I'm using right now when we talk about Lou Gramm, that Lou Gramm's picture will come up where, we'll say, press J, there's Lou Gramm's picture. So we've got to work on that.
James says, Marshall Crenshaw put out a great show, had a good buzz going, told him, you're the future of rock and roll. He told me he liked my jam tie.
Hey, cool. Cool. I remember the interview that Steve did with Marshall. It was... she would joke around with guests an awful lot. And sometimes he'd rub them the wrong way because he just had an interesting, Mensa guys used to follow Steve around in Brandon, Manitoba because he was so smart. They wanted him to join up the Mensa group. And Steve's brilliant. He's a pretty writer. He writes pretty the first time. He doesn't have to necessarily rewrite it all the time. He's just brilliant. And so anyway, he gave me an interview gave me all his interviews, but he used to air it, and I'd always listen to it because I found Marshall Crenshaw was a very interesting guy. That's all I have to say about that.
Cool. Glenn says Talking Heads were ahead of their time.
Yes, very well said. Very much. I mean, David Byrne has even said that he's in the Asperger's spectrum, right? And like you looked at him, he knew he was wired differently. And there's beauty in that. You know, people go around and say, "Oh, your daughter's autistic." Well, it took us a lot of years to get to the point of going, well, she's kind of beautiful the way she is, right? And everyone knows someone with autism or someone certainly in the spectrum.
Melody says, my eyes are going, LOL. I kept wiping a spot off the screen. It was John's shirt. That is funny.
That's good.
Darren says, John, I met Jeff Woods in September 2012 at a motorcycle charity event. He gave me a shout out and a 2012 interview with Getty and Alex. I sent him footage of Neil Peart and Charlie Watts meeting each other.
Peart. Always think of the ear. When I started the channel, I was saying his name wrong. I don't even know what I was saying, but it was slightly wrong. And then when I say Peart now, there's still some people who say, you're saying it wrong. I'm like, trust me, I'm saying it right. And I know I'm saying it right.
Scott says, I am such a Gordon Lightfoot fan that my blood is made of Arctic River water and my face is made of Alberta pines. The Sundown, Summer Side of Life. I had all those albums. Shadows. Just love that era, that 70s. To me, it was like Summer Side of Life. What was that? 74, 73, 74. And then going into the 80s. I saw him in concert once. He was really good. He looked old then, but he's great. He's very fragile now, but I hope he stays around for a while. Lori Baldazzi.
Hey, Lori.
Jeff Woods is a huge music lover, almost a musician's ear. His line of questioning is always with great thought. Greetings from...
Thanks, Lori. You know, Jeff, anyone who doesn't know Jeff Woods, look him up. You know, he is my favorite classic rock broadcaster. Check out, look up My Name, Jeff Woods. You'll find, I think a 3-part, was it? Multi-part interview with Jeff talking about radio and mutual. He said when he interviewed Chantal Kreviazuk, who's Rain from Our Lady Peace's wife, Chantal's fairly big in Canada, or was. I never asked him about it. I feel so bad. I wanted to. The only thing he said about her when he was a record rep was she was precious. And that ain't a good thing.
Pause to purr. Hello from Bishop, California. Love your interviews and, of course, the live streams. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks. As you can tell in the window, it's getting dark here. So we're going to go till another 15 minutes. And you know, as much as I'd like to stay on, I have to go and record my show. That's kind of what I do at 10 o'clock our time. I have a radio show in Vancouver.
Gordon Din says, Gordon Lightfoot was great. Now he can hardly sing. He's so old. I was sad to see his latest performances, but he was great in his prime. Yeah,
he really was. Good 12-string guitarist, too. He really was a good guitarist. Well, speaking of that, another guy who's an amazing guitarist is Bruce Cockburn. Speaking of Canadians, I got to get an interview with Bruce Cockburn. Never talked to him throughout all those years.
JD, John, who would you love to see live in concert from the past? If you can name a few, that would be great. If you can think of anything that comes to your mind.
Well, with bands that are no longer together, Led Zeppelin. I've never seen The Who. Chase saw The Who. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Pause to Purr. Looking forward to watching the Lou Gramm interview.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
We're going to put it up right away.
Yes.
Chase, I think, is he off on Wednesday?
He is.
Yeah, Chase will do it right away, and I'll just prepare for it. And it's, I'm excited about it. I'm really, really excited about it. Steve Perry still, I always put Steve Perry because of the bands that were big around the same time. Even though they don't sound the same at all, but as far as vocalists that I loved in the 80s and late 70s, Steve Perry and Lou Gramm are right up there. I mean, Brad Delp obviously was one of my favorite vocalists of all time, but we lost him. Miss him, man.
Darren says Lou Gramm and Miles Goodwin look similar with the 80s look and curly hair. They each had a song called Just Between You and Me.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Yeah, I should get Miles again. I interviewed Miles in 2000. I know that because he signed all my albums, Miles Goodwin 2000.
Fraser J. John, have you ever thought about getting a fancy designer shirt sponsor for the channels?
That would be good.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. Robert Graham. Anybody work for Robert Graham shirts? Mind you, I only have one of those. Those shirts are $200. And I like, how much was this? This is like cheapy.
Oh, I don't know. You got it at H&M. It was just a walk-in, liked it. For
$15.
It was cheap.
Yeah.
Gator Bronson says, love Talking Heads. And he also says he's excited for the new Peter Gabriel album.
Very excited about that. Yeah. I will go crazy to get an interview with Peter Gabriel. I will jump mountains. Jump them. That's not done every day.
Tracy Diller, good evening.
Hi.
How is everyone doing? I
Tracy.
really miss the big hair bands.
I do too. Some of them, some more than others. All my friends were into Motley Crue. I never was into Motley Crue. But the difference is, I didn't dislike them. Like I was talking about Dr. Feelgood when I saw that video. I remember going, "Oh, I gotta pay more attention to that band." And that was after. So, but it's the personalities in the band too. That sometimes I'd go, you don't want to spend time with that person, but you don't have to, and you're not going to, and enjoy the music. And so they created a lot. They were true rock and roll stars. Guns N' Roses, you were a bigger Guns N' Roses fan than I was.
Yes.
I was never a fan. Nirvana, I was never a fan of Nirvana. So
Warner Design, sorry I'm late to the stream. Have you talked about interviewing David Page?
I already did. And I can't, even though some people who have talked to David have released their videos early, but Mark Karras, who handles all the Toto guys and the Beaudins, and I think a few other people, asked me if I could maybe hold off to when the album is released. I think August 19th, 18th, something. So I said, no problem. And he's asked that every time, and that's the way he works. And Mark is such a good guy. And so I don't mind waiting. We've got Joseph Williams going right now, and I've got Simon's email address or his phone number. So I'm going to get a hold of Simon, ex-Toto, and Shem Von Schreck used to play bass for them. I'm probably going to interview him in the next little while. Shem and I get along incredibly well. There's just Steve Picaro, and Shem. As far as friendship, I think they're good guys, but they're all good. I don't have any qualms with anybody from Toto.
Cardinal Tommy Wolseley, this was the longest John has gone his lifetime without mentioning Small Creeps Day. That's a good one. I thought.
Thanks for putting a smile on my face. Yeah, I love Small Creeps Day so much. I've got to talk to Mike Rutherford. It's not. I mean, listen. The remaining three, Tony Banks, Mike Rutherford, and Phil Collins, I'd like to talk to all three of them, and I hope maybe I'll get a chance to someday, because I'm a way bigger Genesis fan than I'm a Yes fan, and I loved Yes. One of the highlights of my broadcasting career was talking to John Anderson. That was a highlight, and we talked for over an hour. It was great.
Mr. Coe says greetings from Bavaria, Germany.
Oh wow!
Welcome.
Nice to have you on here, man. Thank you.
Justin says, John, I love rock history and learning all I can about it, and I plan to one day write a book, rock and roll from the beginning till now, and would love all the help I can get to write it.
Oh, cool. The biggest thing is just to do interviews. Just do as many interviews, or get permission from authors to use their interviews. But you need permission. You're going to have to get permission.
A Hike with Mike. Hey, John, being a drummer yourself, have you interviewed Steve Gadd?
Yes, when he released the last Gadabouts album with Edie Brickell. Edie was supposed to come on the call. She never did. And I was one of the worst interviews, not because of Steve, but because I had tunnel vision, because I was interviewing him for a smooth jazz show I was doing. And I was on the outs. I was starting to get out of smooth jazz because even though I was making good money in smooth jazz, I had to get back to rock and roll, to my roots. So I didn't. I asked him things like, "Oh, what do you get asked about the most?" "Oh, I don't know, Ricky Lee Jones. You know, the Asia by Steely Dan, and 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon. Yeah, that's about it." And I really didn't get any good stuff from him because of me. I don't understand why. And that day I had tunnel vision, and I'm going, "Hello, you're interviewing Steve Gadd." It's not like I didn't know who he was. God, I was very familiar with his work, but I don't know. It was just, I was having a kooky day.
Darren says, Shannon, have you ever heard Don Henley's 2015 Americana influenced album, Cass County?
I don't think we have this in the house. We never had it.
No.
We never had it. I've never really heard it. I don't think I've heard
haven't.
it. Don Henley's wife has come on our stream a few times. She's even super chatted us. I haven't heard from her in a while, but yeah, she's come on.
Steve McGee says, great content, great channel, keep it up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Blaze Eisner, Brother John, Waiting for a Girl Like You is a consummate love song. It makes me think of my wife, Vera, the best number 2 ever. I'm looking forward to Lou as well as Felix. Hey, Sister Shannon. Hey.
Ah, that's nice. And then Mark Farner, speaking of brother, because Mark, I even put it in the, did I tell you guys, I even put it in the Zoom invite. I always put John Beaudin of YouTube's Rock History Music. I'll put Mark Farner interview with John Beaudin of YouTube's Rock History Music. I'll put Brother John of Rock History Music, and you'll probably get a chuckle out of that, because I told him the last time, the second interview I had with him, I said, I'm just doing this because I love it when you call me Brother John. There you go. He laughed.
Gayco54, what's the name of your Patreon account?
It's not up yet. I know I shouldn't have mentioned it. I mentioned it on that video.
That shall be soon.
Yeah, very, very soon. We're putting up, by the way, the bonus material a lot of it will be 1 or 2 tracks from every interview I've done in the last month going forward now. There'll always be stuff that's only available on that, but there'll be a lot of interviews I've done that have never seen the light of day. So I thought, we'll give it to the Patreon people,
W. Worden, I worked Genesis at Dodger Stadium back when with Freddie from Motley. Good pick.
Oh, wow.
Rick says, would you have been able to remain calm if you were given the chance to interview all the traveling Wilburys? Sadly, we're down to 2 members. Beat the clock and whack that like button.
Thank you. Back then, probably not. There's something strange that happens when you do an interview with someone of that ilk. Or, no, there's something strange. People always say, how do you remain calm? I don't know. To me, it's just a face on the, and everyone's basically nice. Like I said before, Carl Palmer was just tired. I appreciated the fact that he wanted to talk to me after he got off a long tour. And so, I always try to protect my guests because they were nice enough to give me time, So everyone's kind of really nice. Chase has this thing about, he says, well, I'll meet friends. Our son, Chase, he's working at Costco. Because he knows realistically, even though he's a great drummer and he's better than most people his age, way better, actually, he said, well, I've got to make a living here. I've got to make some money. So he got a job at Costco, which is great, making pretty good money. And then he said, wow, I'm going to meet people here. I says, here's the thing about Costco. You're going to meet people and they have to be nice to you or else they'll get fired or get reprimanded or something. That's the thing about working for a big organization that's well run like Costco. When you're interviewing someone, it's kind of like that. They want something. They like talking about their stuff. And almost all people that I've talked to are actually really nice. So there's no room to get nervous. But in the 80s, talking to the Traveling Wilburys, I would have been, and I was doing a lot of interviews back then, but I would have been nervous.
Hike with Mike, I got a future idea for your live streams in the future. Mm-hmm. What songs defined each decade?
That is so good.
Hike with Mike, good one. What songs defined each decade? You can add that.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to put this in the...
JD, thank you, John Shannon, for this Friday live chat. Take care, you both. Love from Tasmania to you both. Thank you, JD. Surfer Boy, thanks, John and Shan. Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay safe. James says, really would love to hear how stuff got together to back Joe Cocker. I think I met him on Cocker's bus tour with Eric Gale and Cornell Dupree.
Hold on a second. What songs defined each decade?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give you credit. Hike with Mike. I'm going to put this down. That's really good. Wow. That's a really, really good question. Oh, look, it's almost quitting time. What are you thinking about?
Thinking about doing a Scrabble game with Danica, because that's my 10 o'clock thing that we do.
I still look, even in this light, I look dark. I'm so much darker than Shannon, but like, because I go out a lot.
I am super white. I go out too. I go out a lot.
I know, but you wear suntan lotion, sunglasses,
and a jacket if I can.
One of our neighbors the other day, it was across the street, was saying, I don't think I've ever seen Shannon without a baseball cap or sunglasses. I didn't know what she looked like.
I sport glasses and a cap. Yes. Especially when it's really sunny.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight and, spending some time with us. I like asking the questions on weeknights. Like I said, just before at 10 o'clock, it's usually a time where I want to sort of just get online. I like doing it. What were you signaling? What were you doing?
Oh, telling Danica to wait.
She was signing to Danica. She knows sign language. I do not. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming on tonight. I didn't think I would be up to it because I was so tired from putting up 10 Joseph Williams clips.
You pulled it off. You did a great job.
Fee Waybill tomorrow, Felix Cavalieri on Sunday. By the way, I asked Felix, I said, someone came up to me in the 80s when I was beginning to get into radio. I was playing, I think, Groovin' by the Rascals. And they said, it's Felix Cavalieri, it's not Felix Cavalieri. Cavalieri. And he said, well, actually, they're right. But Italians say it that way. But I don't want to mix people up. Just say Felix Cavalieri. He says, just say it that way. And I told him about the Randy Bachman-Backman thing. And he says, well, I played with Randy. I have to think. He said, how do you say it again? I said, Randy doesn't care. That's probably why he didn't correct you. He doesn't really care. But it is Backman. And I know that for a fact. So anyway. Dun, da, da, da.
Thanks, everyone. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. And I might be on tomorrow night with something else. And she might be on with me. Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Never know.
Have a good night, everybody.